Hi, dear professors. Here comes Maggie's presentation, and this is my topic: linking play and sociability in early years, a cross-sectional study of peer-dynamic play in Singaporean preschoolers. So my proposal will unfold with these parts, and during the process, I will compare my previous proposal with the current one to highlight some improvements. So in the past and even in some society today, play is characterized as essentially unimportant, trivial, and lacking serious purpose. It's often contrasted with work and diligence. Until last century, the purpose and function of play began to be researched by some scientists and thinkers from a range of disciplines. People gradually recognized its significance and realized that play, learn, and grow should be together. So, since 1930s, almost from Patton and Piaget later on, we have relatively formal educational and psychological research about play and its significance in the social, emotional, physical, cognitive, language, literacy, mental health, development, etc. have been identified. And the present study mainly focus on the play's social part, social aspect. So based on this, during recent decades, researchers found that besides its important role in the children's development, play is also a window into the children's developmental level and provide a great context for the children's observation, assessment, and intervention. The play observation is increasingly popular because of the current emphasis on the ecologically valid, context-based, and progress observation. It has profound value in the following domains, and the present study is based on the play observation. So as for play, we can see it from many dimensions. So it can be classified into different categories. Here I just list some very popular one. In fact, every category can be the theoretic base for a play observation scale with which we see play from a certain dimension. So in the present study, I choose two. One is a stimulus kids social dramatic play, another one is for symbolic play. Actually, in my previous proposal, I tried to use Robin's because it's very popular used as a mature skill for general play observation. But as my study carries on, I found maybe it's not the best because this category, this skill integrate children's social play and cognitive play. But my focus is mainly on the social part, so the cognitive part in this skill may be unnecessary and even disturbing. So I made a change. And for the symbolic play, to some degree, it belongs to the cognitive play, but within the category itself, main focus is put on the children manipulating object, and this matches my data quite well. I'll explain why later on. And also, symbolic play indicates children's development from egocentric to decentration, the role reversal, role exchange, which in line with the idea as a social theme of my research. So like the idea of play observation, ongoing research indicates that children's social competence with peers can be assessed by observing their play with peers. Because play is so important in the children's social development, play allows the individual to obtain some personal knowledge about other group members, like how to get along with others, how to learn to share, to understand the consequence of their own behavior, and allow some social skills to be practiced to help the children establish long-term relation with peers. So here I summarize literature about the development trend of play and sociability and their relation across age and gender. And some controversial findings are found to be exist. So to sum up from the literature review, we know play is so important in children's development, especially the social development, and is supposed to display some certain pattern of the development trend and the function of age, gender, socioeconomic status, and culture. So these issues, which are of significance in some certain cultural contexts, may not be as significant in others. And since most research about play come from Western country, I think it's necessary to conduct some research in Singapore. Therefore, the prudence study expect to investigate the development, trend of play and sociability in preschoolers' free play and their relations in the contemporary Singaporean context. And in the theoretical level and the basic study to provide more updated and culturally specific normative data of play-related behavior for future study, and in the practical level to provide empirical evidence for play-based pedagogy of promoting children's social ability via play, and to provide scientific evidences for an age, gender, and culturally appropriate curriculum planning, teaching, assessment, intervention with regard to play in Singaporean Early Childhood Institute. So here comes my research question. The first one is there any age, gender, and peers gender difference on the children's play and sociability? And the second one is there any interrelation between the developmental play and sociability, and any correlation between the two measures within play? And third one is what I care most. That is, does any interaction pattern exist in peer dynamic play in terms of play and sociability facilitating each other? If yes, what's the educational implication? By this, I want to look into the dynamic relation between play, peer interaction, and children's social development, and the pattern displayed in their free play. So here are my hypotheses based on some literature. Okay, for the methodology, I'll use a quantitative approach to analyze the development trend of play and sociability. Children's behavior will be coded into quantitative data with 4 skills, respectively. So here are the variables. For the independent variable, I want to mention the peer's gender. I included it because I found much research about the children's gender type play and peer's gender effect on children's social development, but little combine these two topics together. So I won't look at the peer's gender effect on children's play, which may contribute to our understanding of the peer's role in children's development. And I think this is an innovative part of my research. And for the dependent variable, here I want to use the multi-dimensional indicator. So for each DV, there are 2 measures with different focus. And then I'll use a qualitative approach to find the to look into the selected episode of play, some very intense and thick episode to look into the interaction pattern. So the investigation of this interaction pattern will take the form of a case study. In the selected episode of play, the children's conversation will be transcribed. Their emotion, gesture, peer interaction, and any contextual cues will be recorded for qualitative analysis. And the data coding and analysis will be guided by the framework developed by Pat Broadhead. The scheme is called Social Play Continuum, which related children's play with their peer, peer interaction and social development and language. This scheme will facilitate qualitative observation by rebuilding children's observed play into its social cultural context to see it as a whole experience for peer interaction. Since the scheme was developed by from Vygotsky's idea, the scaffolding from important others, so it's very suitable for the pattern analysis. Okay, and finally, linking play and sociability. So for research design, the secondary data will be used. Here I want to clarify a bit, because everybody knows secondary data bring about limitation to our research. And the first time I watched the data after I got my ethical approval, I was so sad because there are a lot of unmatchness between the data and my research purpose, my research design. So my first impulse was to collect new data for my own research purpose. But after I doing some literature, I found maybe it's wise to insist on this secondary data with some adjustment to my own research design. Because for one thing, the data was collected in the play context, so it is play, no doubt. And also, what I want to research is children's play, no problem. And also, the data was collected for language study, and substantial research told us how close children's language related to their play and social development. So there's no need for me to collect new data for separating them, right? And also, since the data come from a large scale research project, it's very what was collected with very sophisticated strategy, much better than collecting by myself, I think. So there are 116 preschoolers from a kindergarten, 4 grades from nursery to K3. And the play observation context is that each day and children engaged in a 13-minute semi-structured free play in the toy area and be videotape. And the Dianes, they are same class, same grade level, similar age, and sometimes mixed gender, sometimes same gender composition. So this allowed me to look at the peers' gender effect because the data is appropriate. And this is a toy context. The toy settings are designed according to some certain standards. And the toy is very important in children's play. It's central in sustaining play and resolving peer conflicts related to the ownership of the object. It's a key factor in deciding whether play continued or ceased. And also, giving and receiving object contribute to children's development level of sociability and cooperation. So you can see you can see this data, why this data is so great, so appropriate for my research purpose after I ending the social ability part into my previous research design and using the peers conflicts as a measure of the sociability. And also you can see here why I choose a symbolic play as a measure, as an indicator of play. Because the most frequent thing the children engaged here is manipulating object. So here are the measures, and I already explained why these skills matches my research purpose and data. And of course, some modification will be made. This is for a quantitative skill, and this is a qualitative skill. So for data analysis, for the quantitative method, I'll use Mengguo to analyze the relation of the relation between the DVs and the IVs, and Pearson correlation will be employed to find the correlation and interrelation between and within dependent variables, and the reliability will be guaranteed by inter-observer agreement. And for the qualitative method, like I said just now, I'll use this skill, the social play continuum, as a framework to lead content analysis. And for limitation, first one is data analysis. Since the present study involves relatively many variables, so maybe some more sophisticated data analysis model should be employed, like the structural equation modeling and regression analysis, like unconditional quantile regression, to test the very complicated relation among the variables, like some causal relation and inter-influence among the variables. And the second one is because of the time limitation, I can't involve the language competence, which I think should be addressed and control variable according to some literature. So in the future, I want to include this language and literacy issue. And second, play that seeing the present study is only a basic study based on play observation, so it takes the form of cross-sectional study. And in the future, I want to do some longitudinal study about the play assessment and intervention, which may produce more practical value, and also special education need development delays quite in line with the present study and very promising. So I want to look into in the future. And the timeline. Okay, that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye.